The United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Corporation Framework for the Caribbean is the first corporation framework since the United Nations Development System reform. This corporation framework, based on national and regional analysis of SDG progress in Belize and the wider Caribbean, assessed how countries can recover from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, designed priorities for bringing on track all 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This is the basis of UN's work to support, trigger, and catalyze changes fully grounded and responding to Belize's National Development Plan for placing in the forefront human rights and leaving no one behind as a centerpiece of Agenda 2030. The Corporation Framework 2022 to 2026 launched in December 2021 and signed by the government of Belize through the Ministry of Affairs, Foreign Trade, and Immigration. It is a partnership with the government and all stakeholders. This framework was developed as the world continues to grapple with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. In the Caribbean, the impact of the pandemic aggravated and revealed several existing structural vulnerabilities. From the wake of a world permanently altered, we were provided with the opportunity to build back better.
The UN vision in the Caribbean Multi-Country Sustainable Development Corporation Framework is aimed at contributing to countries in the sub-region to become more resilient in a period of multiple crises and achieve greater capacity towards all Sustainable Development Goals of the Agenda 2030. This is especially important because this UNMSDCF is the second last UN cooperation framework in the decade of action leading towards 2030. We are all called to strengthening the UN coordination, a new generation of United Nations country teams, and greater effectiveness in supporting the resource mobilization for the global goals. We are all conscious of the challenges and committed to provide all our efforts, technical expertise, and global experience.
This called for strengthening of UN coordination systems and a new generation of United Nations country teams that are more responsive, better integrated, and more impactful. The Country Implementation Plan operationalizes the cooperation framework in Belize through country-level actions, as well as trans-boundary areas of work by UN entities. Under each of the 4 priority areas, specific outcome areas were collaboratively defined by the UN agencies, funds and programs, government ministries, and regional institutions. The 4 pillars are: 1. Economic resilience and shared prosperity. 2. Equality, well-being, and leave no one behind. 3. Resilience to climate change and sustainable natural resource management. 4. Peace, security, justice, and rule of law. The Country Implementation Plan 2022 to 2023 is the first plan in this new cycle. Early results achieved so far are noteworthy. One of the more impactful initiatives is to support the government's disaster risk preparedness with contributions towards a catastrophe risk insurance financing facility to assist families affected by natural disasters such as hurricanes or excessive flooding. The Joint Program on Social Protection builds on the consensus that social protection is a human right and supports poverty reduction and economic growth. National capacity in the area of shock-responsive social protection and public finance management has been strengthened. Initial progress has also been made in terms of strengthening social protection by supporting standard operating procedures, sectorial analysis, and costing of the social protection floor. The Spotlight Initiative contributes ending family violence by strengthening policy and legislation, increasing protection of women and girls, expanding the range of services available, data and evidence to inform decision-making, and addressing social norms and behaviors that promote violence against women and girls, all through strong collaboration with government and civil society. At the end of Phase 1 in June 2022, almost 16,000 women and girls have increased knowledge of violence against women and girls, family violence legislations, and increased awareness of gender equitable norms. Men and boys have demonstrated transformed attitudes and behaviors to bring an end to violence against women and girls, and to support women and girls in accessing and advocating for their rights. Over 1,300 marginalized women and girls have increased knowledge of and access to accompaniment or support initiatives, including long-term recovery services through the implementation of mobile centers in hard-to-reach communities. Two key national plans and policies, the National Gender Policy and the National Gender-Based Violence Action Plan, were revised and strengthened through a consultative process that involves state and non-state actors and increased the capacity of 40 government officials to develop plans and policies responding to gender and gender-based violence. The Belize Amnesty Program addresses the issue of irregular migrants in Belize and focuses on managing migration, national security, economic development, and humanitarian assistance. Over 5,500 persons were supported to apply for the amnesty. The e-mobility pilot project represents the country's first effort to promote and accelerate the uptake of electric mobility. Electric vehicles, including buses, are to be introduced within Belize's public transport network, focusing on intercity travel within Belize's Western Corridor and intra-urban public transportation in Belize City. The Transforming Education Summit was a unique opportunity to convene education leaders to recover, reimagine, and revolutionize education for the 21st century. The goal of the Smart Health Facilities Initiative is for these facilities to continue providing services both during and in the aftermath of a disaster such as hurricanes and in the context of climate change. With efficient, disaster-resilient, and environmentally friendly health facilities, health personnel can better serve the people in their communities while working in a safe environment. What these successful early results have shown us is that we can achieve so much more through the continued work under the country implementation plan. In the pipeline are joint programs being advanced with key donors and partners at the national, regional, and global levels.
We will continue to strengthen partnerships and build upon frameworks that guide our vision and improving the lives of people in Belize. This shared vision makes necessary our joint action as the means through which to address interconnected challenges across borders and all spheres of society. The UN is grateful for the continued partnership and trust to work alongside the whole government and all of society to make sure our common agenda is served.